It's here. Okay, hello everybody.
It seems to be a bit unstable.
Okay, so I will go briefly through my background. I'm a medical doctor and I have several degrees also in different areas of public health and ICT and management. So I skip these things. I work as a family doctor. I do mostly my work remotely. And also I work in Sitra, Finnish Innovation Fund, as a senior advisor and advising different companies and government organizations about how to build smart services, smart e-services. So I'm Estonian, so I'm like a loan to Finland. My message is that as a doctor and also entrepreneur, I have been engaged developing software for doctors already since the 90s. And technology and healthcare is a long history together. We started with developing electronic medical record. We went from paper to the digital and starting to collect sickness information to the software. So there is more complicated system like hospital information system. But already in the same time we saw the like a personal health record type of sensor trend or other pulse rate meters like Polar or others, collecting device and you have a possibility to collect your data, your health and well-being data. And also we see already in very early electronic medical record systems some kind of artificial intelligence, some kind of guidelines, comparison of your behavior to the guidelines and other things. So I named this development as a digitalization. We switch from the paper to the digital. In next stage, we move to more integrated and more sophisticated systems, like electronic health record system, where there is a more than one institution using the same record, is it regional or nationwide, or electronic health information exchange platforms where you can share the data between professionals. So at the same time, there is a more sophisticated decision support systems, and as we saw the night, Scott, you can already connect different devices, insulin pump, for example, and watches and different things in your platform. So you have more complicated, like a personal record where you keep the records and you can use this. So and this is very much can be said that it's the phase of integration. And this is the how the healthcare and how the healthcare system works today. We have I use this study made already more than 20 years ago, and it tells that how many problems which are related with health and well-being we face every day. So there is 1,000 adults. During 1 month, 800 of them have some kind of health-related problem or concern or question, whatever. So 329 of them deciding that this is a severe case and I want to contact the doctor. So they pick up the phone or book a time and they go to the professionals and they start to circle in the healthcare. They become a patient. So we collect the data to the electronic health record, hopefully. So this is the case what we living now as a professionals. So we are collecting the data to the electronic health record, but we don't know what happened to these 461 patients or citizens. They are not patients, they're citizens. How they solve their problem, because only 329 decided to go, and we have some kind of information about what was the case. Mainly the sick episodes of the history of of the people. So this is how it works today. Now we have seen these national integrations. We've seen different developments in personal health devices, and also more sophisticated artificial intelligence. And we also see that these all three things are merging to the one personal health account. Some countries has already decided to move all sickness data to the personal health record, like Australia. Sweden is doing that. Finland has already made some decisions to integrate these things. Hopefully other countries as well. But none of those have reached this target yet. But the trend is to move this direction. And this is not enough. Now we are talking that if we have all the data accessible and under the control of the patient or citizen, then we can use different concepts. How to analyze the data. We're talking about open data, to add open data to this data set. MyData concept in this conference. We're using big data to find the patterns of the data what we have collected. And we can enrich the data with other sources like genetic data, environmental data, social data. So all together this has to be under the control of the person, under the control of the citizen. And how? And I named this this area as a personalization. And this is just this is a journey what is just have started. We are just talking about some personalized medicine and other things, but it's much broader. So how would this picture look like when we have reached this status where we can really freely use this data what is available? Let's assume that all these 800 people start to look answers for their problem. So the first thing is we have to clarify what is the problem about. What is the real problem? So if we have clarified this, we want to extract the data from different sources. What are available? So after that, we can analyze the data. We can use big data, we can use different analytics. Then we can make decisions, and we can give advice and recommendations. And this is all artificial intelligence. This is decision support. But there is none of these kind of system which will fulfill all these needs of to cover all these areas. So we need different decision support engines, different algorithms, and different ways to do it. After that, yes, we still need sometimes connect professionals. But if this is already clarified and very exact problem, we can narrow the scope, what kind of services we can provide to this person. It's not necessary maybe not to go to the doctor to get a referral to the lab. Maybe you should go directly to the lab. Why not? Why to go to get the referral? Or why renew your insulin prescription if you use already algorithm? Why can't this device order the prescription itself? This is here. So you are ready, but now the regulations are not ready, and doctors, of course, are not ready. So the other option is that you can go to self-care and all other services, what is around and outside of sick care services. So there is very few data about how should be this proportion, but in some studies is shown that if you implement this kind of decision support systems and triage systems, you can split the number of patients coming to the service to the half of it, because it's not need. So if in nowadays we have 329 persons who are going to directly to the professionals. In the future, using artificial intelligence, we can split this. 160 is really needed, and other have to have some extra support devices, some coaching services, which are not medical service as we see it today. And more obviously, the data is still in the silos. This data is in personal health record. This is in professional records, and this should merge to the health account. They should regularly feed and talk to each other, and the loop is closed, so you can use this analytics, but you can access all the data. So this is how it should look like in the perfect world. But let's think now a little bit differently. I am one of those who have problem. I raise the flag. I have problem. What happens in the sharing economies, like transportation? If I have problem of transportation, there is a plenty of those who are giving me help or taking my note that, oh, I can help you. Let's turn around this healthcare system in the way that if I have a problem and I use this kind of triage, and there are services which can help me, why don't they pick up me or offer, oh, I can help you, pick up me. So you turn around the business process totally differently. That patients are not waiting the doctors or services, but services are waiting that somebody asks them to help. And then we change the world. Then this is how I see it. And all what you have done, you have just avoided this regulation part here and went directly to this loop. And it's showing the way how we should do it. As a doctor, I wish that I have a tools that I can recommend to my patient and say, hey, this is your disease, and here are possible devices with applications, and please be kind and inform me once a month how you are doing in digitally. So give me access to your data once a month, and I give you feedback. This is how I see that the profession changes during next 10 years. So, and then you can also, as you mentioned, that you can outsource your readings, that you can sleep. You can outsource your readings to somebody who are waiting and ready to monitor your data during when you go to the holiday, but your children stay at home. You outsource your task to somebody else. These kind of services are available only if you use this kind of personal account approach and MyData principles. Thank you.
one question. We have time for a short question.
Yes.
Is there any question? No,
We are waiting for.
yeah, I think there are a lot of questions, but now we head for the last speaker of this session. And is Risto Kaikkonen here? Yes. He comes from one of the government organizations, National Institute of Health and Welfare. So, Risto, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. So my name is Risto Kaikkonen and I come from National Institute for Health and Welfare and let's start our presentation here. I was just wondering which MyData I should show you. I have there something. If I have time, I will show you something about football. my heart rate from football. I'm a football coach also. And I have one player that has diabetes. It's very difficult to find when he is doing failures because of diabetes or without diabetes. That was just kidding. He has also done some research about those issues that you mentioned, but I have some homecoming material for him. I meet him tonight. Okay, so I'm something about to tell you about possibilities of open health and well-being data, and what is the issue then, and what is my message about this representative data of Finns, including biobanks, and we have one data set open from the biobanks for you, so it's my main message. And what does it fit to the MyData? My son exercised quite a lot, also like me. He participated in this one study, and he got the results that they said that we give you your personal results. And it showed that you exercise enough. Oh, really? What would it be if he had some comparisons about his age, his gender, and so we could figure out how many of Finns exercise that much, below or above. Okay, we know that something is changing, and in our governmental issues we of course concentrate also the trends that we are looking forward tomorrow. Something about the institute that I come from, because I'm not from a startup, I'm not an entrepreneur, I'm a bit old school guy from your point of view. So we have knowledge for health and welfare. We do quite a lot of scientific research, and the best available data are available for us, of course. But it's not that open because of the legislation, we know that. But we are also changing. We want to make effective use of our databases, our data repositories. We want that other people can use that, taking account that legislation sometimes gives some issues to us. But our key goal is to be a forerunner in the production, distribution, and integrating of the data. That's why we are having fun in this kind of sessions. So in the January, we really released our data policy, which says that we want to make efficient use of the data. It has 5 points. I wouldn't remember more than 5. It's the world's strongest man competition, if you remember Vintier. There was 5 issues in world's strongest man competition. So if you remember 3, I made my point. So making the datasets visible. You don't know what we have. Making datasets available is one issue that we are looking forward to get. More and more easier way to get as this kind of one-stop shop for access also the authorization data and disclosure. Improving timeless and custom reporting, but more or less this is the point. Making open data and open publishing our priority. Open data, it doesn't mean that we open everything. We want money also. Just kidding. That is one issue. Money is one issue. I wouldn't work there if I would prefer the money. So, we want to test what kind of data sets will do benefits for the society. And of course to my son. This kind of data sets we have, so these are unique in the world, in many ways. So one way is that we have some registers from the 50s, so we have long time trends. And of course, some of those registers have issues that are in the details of level that the others don't. And we have, for example, Biobank from the 2014, our own Biobank. But more or less, we have samples from the 70s. So we have had Biobank more or less for 40 decades. And we have biosamples from the people. Okay, that's fine, that's nice. We have also health surveys that have about 150,000 Finns in it. Okay, that's nice. And other researchers also. But for example, only this register here, which have been collected from the 1987. I see that you're a little bit older, more or less, than how many of you have been born in 1987 or after that? Okay, only a few. I take some lectures also, and normally when I ask that, more or less everybody raises their hands. They're all in our register, so you are in our register, for example. But the point is that we have personal ID in Finland. So the main issue is that you can link everything. How many of us is missing from the whole picture? I would say more or less only few. That is one thing. Why do we collect surveys? So this is old school. This is really old school. This study here from the 78 or 72, we are still doing this quite in the way that we did in the 70s. Why? Why? If you can find a better way to get ice, I like to hear it. It's from The Simpsons, if you like to look at the video from the expedition getting the ice. We need the information from the whole population. We have the biobank, and diabetes was the one issue today. How do we know this? About 150 Finns have diabetes and they don't know it. We don't know it. But we do know it. Because we study the whole population, not only the people that takes the phone call and calls to Madis in Estonia. No. We have to do surveys that covers the whole population. And of course, we need for and use of the healthcare. We need to get the information about the unmet needs. Functional capacity of the people, workability, that's not from the registers. Quality of life, cohesion, trust, health behavior, and so on. And also the biomarkers. And use of digital services. We heard here that digital services are today e-services, e-health, and I would say e-sports also. It's nice to play different kind of games that you have to kill other people in the game, of course. And it's nowadays some kind of also not only sports, but it's also you get money from it. In the future, of course, this could be gathered from the MyData, more or less. Oma kanta. The limitations of today are the possibilities of tomorrow. We have to do more or less some of these issues that I mentioned here. For example, this study here has about 270,000 people in it. From the paper, it says that 2 big trolleys had to get the wood from the forest to get that study done. Of course, it has the possibility. But one issue that you have to take account, it's we use in Finland this Kanta. We have more than 1.6 million users in it. But here is the age differences between men and women. How many % of our population uses the internet to do the e-services? Here you see, women up to 75 or older, all 1/5, 1 of 5 uses the internet to services. We cannot collect everything if we want to do it, that it represents the whole population. When that goes as high as this one, we can do it. We have to be able to evaluate that it really represents the population that lives in Finland. And these are huge stories that goes higher and higher. So all logins, number of visitors and so forth in different kinds of timeline. So here, when it started, we had only 0 users and 100,000. Here we have 1.6 million persons that use the service to this year. We have 9 biobanks in Finland. We have our own biobank, so the main issue that we are a little bit different than the others. We have a lot of issues that are representative of the whole population. Here is the future. This is a huge data set from biobanks. We have so much information from the Finns that are valuable in the whole world. This will be in the future in many scientific papers and also, of course, in other kinds of places. MyData and, of course, things like this, what you get out of this, and can we use data from here as an open data for you to build better devices, to build better issues. That is what I'm looking forward. Okay, today we are in closed system, so we do more or less all the analysis, and we think that you need this kind of data. That is the wrong way to think about it. I have to say that we're doing everything we can to open our data. We have a lot of open data. You can take a look. The main issue this year, we have to think that what is the main new issue next year. We have almost opened different kinds of data sets after that. But what's in those data sets is more interesting than opening every data that is available. So take a look at those from our website. Of course, the future is that you need some kind of data, and we could give it to you if the legislation gives us an opportunity to give it to you, and we have not said to the people that we are collected from that we are not using it to any other issues that we have said. But of course, ability to run custom analysis to get, for example, open data more customly tailored for you is one issue that is a little bit interesting. Okay, my point this year is that our challenge is, of course, for you. We have opened biomarkers data that could be compared to the MyData. There was issues that you mentioned earlier that there is no data available. We try to open some kind of data that is available. Biomarkers, BMI, systolic and diastolic, blood pressure, total and LDL cholesterol. Background variables, gender, male, female, age in different age groups. And the percentiles represents the proportion of individuals having lower or equal value of these biomarkers in the subpopulations defined by the age group and gender, for example. And we can go much more deeper if we want to, if you want to. So we can take a look at those figures, and this is only tip of the iceberg. We can open different kinds of data sets, and we can say that my son, he exercises about 3 hours per day. How many does that? For example, if he has some kind of issues with mental health, we have reference values for that. You name it. You can go deeper with background variables. I have this kind of polar watch, and I could say that more or less 90% of the users of this one are highly educated, they earn too much, and they exercise quite a lot. That's not a reference value from the population. So we can go much more deeper with these kind of data sets. Go and take a look, this thl.fi, open data, there is everything that I have said here. And we are looking forward to get some kind of ideas from the applications that could use these target values, and of course if 50% of Finnish population about my son's age exercise more than my son, he will say he will exercise even more. So we can put some target values, of course. Thank you for your attention, and take a look at our website, use the data, say if it's good, if it's not good, we can do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Risto, and thank you for all the speakers and panelists. And before anyone leaves, the discussion goes on and continues in the Elisa too, wherever it might be. People will help you to find there. I couldn't help you in that. And a couple of words to wrap up the session. Looking from the innovation point of view and looking from the society point of view, the Western world healthcare system, cannot tolerate growing so fast anymore. I mean, it's unsustainable to keep the systems spending more money every year after and every year, year after year. And I think we could try to reform the systems by looking the systematic view and top down. But I would challenge people that say that let's do it systematically top down. It wouldn't work at least as fast. It could work through our citizens and people. It was really nice to hear the high level of motivation when it comes to the individuals that start to solve the problems that society has created. So, and of course the legislation is one way to look in the system change, but as a government official, I must say that our job is just to do and enable the change, but we cannot do the big change without the citizens. So I think that it comes from the citizens level, which really drives the change in the system. So I was really happy to hear that you are not waiting. Because if we would be waiting, we could wait for quite a long time. And about one more thing about citizens, I think if we look the marketplace as such, the lot of marketplace is changed because the citizens or consumers, they don't care how the system rules and how the system plays. We just, if we want to start to challenge the system, we find the new ways. And there's nice examples, Airbnb. That was not existing a couple of years ago, but it's the, I don't know the valuation, current valuation, but it's the value that we people do. And coming back to my welcoming words, it's about you, it's about me. And let's make things rock. Thanks.
So thank you for everybody, speakers and panelists and Anssi. I'm delighted that we had so great session and you made it. Thank you very much. And so that we can really get the totally new insights for this MyData discussion in Finland. It's my pleasure to invite you now go and have a deep discussion in that Elisa 2 group lounge, so that we can really think about those actions that we could make, put them in life. And we have our great panelists, of course, there, so that you can have even more discussion and answers and questions for them. And I would also like to invite you for those self-organized dinners, which are also organized this evening. This session will have a table reserved in restaurant Törenranta. And I would like to know everybody who is coming there, and you should be sending a text message or then tell me now even, now in next 1 hour, because we have to make a reservation in the restaurant.
What time is it?
It's at 8 o'clock and it's self-financed, so that this Congress can't get all the dinners for you guys. But it would be nice to have you there, because then we have a possibility to get together and talk more about this MyData in healthcare. But let me know straight away. My telephone number is on the website, so that I'm hosting that, and but I would love to see you there, please. And thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the meeting. I think that there will be a very interesting discussion going on today and the rest of the 2 days. Thank you. Bye.
I sent you my contact. And you can, in the end of my presentation, you have the full data about yes. Yeah, I will send you the presentation, and that is all data. Okay. Ei, kyllä mä jatkan sitten tästä siinä mielessä, että meillä on se ihme avainalue, niin Tuuli Tiikkonen johtaa valintavapaus. Siellä me sitten yritetään työkaluja ja kiertää panolisaatioja. Siellä on niin mielenkiintoista työtä. Toisen kerran niin saa. Nyt on 2 kertaa.
Joo, hei.
Mutta lähettääkö sitten joku, että laitan kalenteriin, että sen päivän kiinni? Mutta suurin piirtein se on mun ajatus, mitä mä voisin siellä.
Eikö se ole just se?
Mulla oli lähtee.
Se on juuri sitä, mitä me halutaan tuon kuvan perusteella keskustella, mitä se tarkoittaa.
Kyllä se juuri se viimeinen, se, että sä käännät sen asetelman toimiksi. Jos on ihminen, kenellä on ongelma, sä nouset sen lipun pystyyn. Sitten on kaikenlaiset palvelun tuottajat, ketkä sitten nappaa sut ja tarjoaa, että mä voisin ratkaista sun ongelman. Miksi lääkärit ja muu palveluverkko ei voi tehdä samaa niin kuin Uber on tehnyt muissa niin kuin, kuljetuspalveluissa? Täysin sama asia, mutta siihen tarvitaan tekoälyä. Siihen tarvitaan sitä analyytiikkaa ja sitä, että